Hey everyone, welcome into another review. Today we're taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution Armada Hotshot. Here we are then guys, here's Legacy Hotshot from Armada Universe. As you can see, done a really nice job with this one. It does look very accurate to the Armada cartoon, which did come out quite a while ago, so some of you guys may not be familiar with it, but it was a cartoon back in the early 2000s which kind of got me into Transformers really, so yeah, I'm quite a big fan of Armada actually. So Hotshot is one of the main characters from Armada. He's essentially the Bumblebee-esque character really in the show. You know, he's like the second in command to Optimus. And he does transform into this pretty cool looking NASCAR type sports car, I'd say. I think officially it's supposed to be an Audi TT, but for legal reasons it's not. The sculpt is really nice. As you can see, we get this nice painted Autobot insignia there on the shoulder, which also makes up the rear wing for the car section. Get really nice head sculpt, plenty of detail on there. Got those nicely painted blue eyes as well. And then he also includes his visor, which can be folded down, which is part of the Evo Fusion for this character. Chest plate, we don't get a Autobot insignia there, but you can see that it is implied that there is supposed to be one in there. And then we get this metallic silver sort of harness for the type racing type suit that he's supposed to be wearing. That's his main accessory, I'll go over that in a second. Down here, not a lot going on really. Just a bit of hollow space in the legs there. And then down to the bottom of the legs, they are quite wacky with the way that they're transformed, so it does sort of lead to these really strange looking bottom bits of the legs. Just loads of empty space in there really, but that's just the way it transforms unfortunately. You do get these nice little front sections here on the shins, and then as you can see that's the wheels stored away for the alt mode. Down to the feet, not a lot going on. He does have these 5mm ports on the bottom of his feet, so you can combine him with some of your other figures. And then just quickly spinning him around to the back, that's where we get the rear axle for the vehicle mode, just stored away back there. And that is actually part of his Evo Fusion gimmick for this toy. And it was a feature on the original Hotshot toy from back in the day when Armada first came out. So you can deploy this and you can rotate it around, and then you can fold down his visor, and that is the Axle Zuka. And you can, if you've got some, you can tab some blast effects in there to have it firing. I believe on the original toy it was a spring-loaded feature. It just popped out of the back when you attached the Minicon that he came with, which was Jolt. But on this toy it's all just manual, so you just got to do it yourself. On to the accessories then. This is the main one that we get for Hotshot. As you can see, it's the engine block blaster from the show. And it is cast out of this red plastic. You get some metallic silver paint for the barrels and the exhausts that are on the sides of it, and then just some black paint down the middle there. So just be wary of this silver paint as it does like to wear off. And we also get two of these little nubs on the end of the barrels, so you can attach some of these blast effects, although it is a very loose connection. So you can just about get one on there. Bringing in the Axle Zuka piece, from what I've just showed you, you can detach it from the backpack section, and you can combine it with the engine block blaster. And then if we bring in the figure, we can attach this all up and have that as like a little Gatling turret type thing going on. Looks quite cool. Another little option for you there. And then as you can see, that's the post where the axle Zuka was attached to. You can just fold that away if you want him wielding it like so. Moving on to the articulation then. First up we get a head which is on a swivel, so it will go all the way around. Full 360. There's a little bit of tiltage, so it can sort of nod his head slightly. We get shoulders which are on hinges, so they'll go out to there. They'll go up to this piece here. You can detach these pieces, they're just on these double hinges, so you can get the shoulder to go all the way up. And then it will go back to there, but then it's going to clatter into that backpack piece. We get a bicep swivel up here, which is nice. There is a 90-degree bend at the elbow. And there's no wrist articulation, sadly, as it is just all one piece there for the forearm. Coming down to the waist, it is on a swivel, so it will go a full 360. The hips are on hinges, so you can get a full splits out of him. He will kick up to there. He'll kick back to there. Obviously all the kibble is sort of clashing into each other now, so we get a thigh rotation. There is a bend at the knee, but it is on this weird double joint for the transformation, so you've just got to be a little bit careful. You can bring this out a bit further if you want the full extension like that, but it is intended to be pegged in there for bot mode, just for a bit of extra sort of strength on it. And then coming down to the foot, we get some toe articulation, which mainly just folds up for transformation. And then we do get an ankle rocker as well. It's quite tight though on my copy. Here are a few quick comparisons for you then. So here he is alongside the Legacy United Infernac Universe Magnius. And these two are both deluxe class figures, so they do scale quite nicely actually. And then here he is next to the big boss man. And that is Legacy Armada Optimus Prime, who is a commander class figure, although this size and scale is obviously leader class. So that's what it looks like next to Optimus. I do believe Hotshot is the wrong scale. They did release an Armada Starscream figure in Legacy, but I don't have that figure sadly to compare it with. But essentially Hotshot should be the same size as that Armada Starscream fig was, so he was a Voyager class. But they decided to make this guy G1 scale for some reason. I don't really know why. I guess they wanted to make him a deluxe instead, to make him a little bit cheaper for everyone. So if you buy the Starscream figure and the Optimus, and Hotshot of course, they're not all going to be to scale sadly, as they appear in the show. So Hotshot's a little bit shorter than what he should be, but I think when he's next to Optimus it doesn't look too bad, but obviously next to Starscream it is going to be wrong, unfortunately. So with all that being said guys, let's jump on into the transformation. So the first step, you want to untab these shoulder panel pieces here. They just tab into the chest via those tabs there, so do that on both and just lift them up. Then what we can do is take this whole backpack section, and it is also on a double hinge, so we can just extend that out like so. And then we're going to collapse these shoulder pad pieces that we've just pulled up down onto there and down onto there, and that's going to form the rear wing for the alt mode. Next step, we can take this chest piece and bring it forward, and then we're just going to grab the head and rotate it down into there, and then we can fold all that up, so that's the head tucked away. And then we can bring the backpack section up, and it is just going to tab straight over there like that. connect over to the chest piece. And that's the back section of the car done. Next step, we're going to rotate the arms 90 degrees so that the knuckles are now facing upwards. As we do need these tabs and these slots later on for when we attach it all together. So we've done that. And then we can rotate at the waist 180 degrees. So we've got all this section facing us now. Just bring the arms in again. Next step, we're going to come down to the feet. We're going to fold these toes up. And then where this ankle rocker piece is, it does actually connect in. It clips into this little tab that's under here. There's a circular tab there that is going to go in that slot on the foot. So you just want to make sure that's all clicked together like that, as this is going to form the front bumper section for the alt mode. So do the same thing on the other side, just clip that in like that. Next, what we can do is rotate the legs at the thigh. And then we're going to grab these windscreen window translucent pieces and we're going to rotate them around. It's on these ball joints, so we can just rotate them around, bring it so that it's level with the front of the car. And then inside of here, we get this little additional piece that's going to fold out like that. So do that on both sides. Just fold that out. Next, we're going to come to these strange looking knees and we're going to untab it from there. And then we need to collapse it like that and then bend at that joint as well. So that this section here is going to connect into the hand. And that should be sitting nice and flush like that, all tucked away. As you can see, that's why the legs are so hollow, because all this has to be engineered to fit inside there for the alt mode. So once we've done that side, we'll do the same thing on the other side. So just collapse all that in and then fit that tab at the top into the hand. And then up at the front here, we get this rather beefy looking tab slot connection. So we're going to connect that together. And then we also get one on this roof section that's going to tab together, and then we get a third one here in the middle. So you just want to go ahead and make sure all that's connected up. Just be careful on this one here, as it is one of those translucent bits of plastic and they are very fragile, so just try your best to be gentle with it. And then these sections at the back are going to tab in there. So just make sure that's all nice and squashed together. And then we can take these doors and we're just going to rotate them around and they're just going to clip in. I do find that sometimes you have to bend this piece out of the way a little bit to get the door to fit, as this section here has to sort of go over it a little bit like that. So you do have to bend it a little bit. So again, just be pretty gentle with it and it should go in, should comply. Give it one last check over. And then the last step we can do is grab the engine block blaster, and that's just going to tab up front like that and help to hold everything together. Now we've got Hotshot transformed, he's ready to roll out. So let's have a look at the alt mode. There we go. As stated earlier, he is supposed to be an Audi TT from the early 2000s era, but they couldn't make him exactly like one as they didn't have the license to do it. So he sort of looks a little bit like one, but not 100%, obviously, to avoid that licensing fee and the copyright claims, I suppose, from Audi. It sort of reminds me of like a NASCAR type vehicle, a speedway racer, I guess. Yeah, it looks quite quite cool actually. It's definitely stylized. I mean, it's really wide, as were most of the alt modes in the Armada cartoon. They were all that sort of style. Does have a few blemishes on mine, sadly. A couple of marks on it. I think it's just a byproduct of that plastic-free packaging that they do now. There's just nothing to protect the figures completely from being damaged and knocked about during shipping. So yeah, he has picked up a few knocks, unfortunately. As you can see, we get some nicely sculpted details, as well as some more painted details. That's the same Autobot insignia that was on his shoulder earlier. Get a nice filler cap there sculpted on. Nice sculpted detailing at the front here with the headlights. Some more of that metallic silver paint. Front bumper section. Bit of a front grille going on there, although it's not been painted. We get alloys on the front, and then they're sort of just hollowed out on the back because of how the axle Zuka works. And then we get a painted black strip that goes along the side as well. Not a lot going on at the back. There's no tail light paint or anything like that. So nothing to write home about really. And then, as you can see, this windscreen section here has been painted with yellow, and it is just cast out of this translucent blue plastic. So as you can see, it's sort of the blue of the plastic is bleeding through the paint a little bit, so it doesn't create the best look really. And obviously the yellow of this doesn't match the yellow plastic of the rest of the vehicle, which is a little bit of a shame. There is this black painted detail up here as well. Looking at it from underneath, tidies up pretty well. Obviously the head is tucked away in there. It's just the arms really, the hands that are showing. Not a lot else of the bot mode that you can see from underneath. One feature that was present on the original toy is if you utilise this spot on the back here, which is a Power Links port, on the original toy you could tab something in there and it would be a spring-loaded feature which would pop these out at the front, which were like these front claws slash like pincers that are used to cut through stuff. You can see they've kind of sculpted a little bit of detailing on there to represent those claws, but they haven't painted anything. And on the original toy it was spring-loaded, whereas on this one you just got to manually do it. If you've got the original Jolt from that original figure, you can tab him onto here. He will fit. He's just that little helicopter that goes on the back of him. And then you can spin the rotor blade around to give you some extra power. And they did re-release this figure just as a slight retool and a repaint in Legacy. And he does include Jolt on the back. I believe that one was called the Power Links Hot Shot Armada Universe, whereas this is just regular Hot Shot, so he doesn't come with Jolt, sadly. Just got a few quick comparisons for you again, guys. So here he is with the Legacy United Infernac Universe Magnius, who's another deluxe class fig. And as you can see, they do scale quite nicely together in alt mode. And then here he is alongside the boss man himself, and that is the Legacy Armada Prime. As you can see, Optimus is much bigger than Hotshot, as you'd expect really. Final thoughts for Hotshot then, guys. Yeah, I'm really a big fan of this one. As I said, Armada is one of my favourite Transformers cartoons, and it was the one that I grew up with, so yeah, it definitely means the most to me to see them go into that universe and give us new figures for those old characters. Yeah, really nice to see that. hopefully they continue to delve into that universe a little bit more and give us some more figures. I know that the new Commander class figures from that show as well, it's Tidal Wave, so definitely going to try and pick that one up at some point. And it would be nice if they gave us a sideways as well from Armada. That would be really cool, as I love the original sideways toy. Really awesome. So for Hotshot, yeah, really good job. A few little gripes here and there. I mean, obviously, you know, the legs being as hollow as they are is a little bit of a disappointment, but it's sadly just due to the way it transforms. I'm not going to complain too much about this translucent plastic, as I've already moaned about it enough. Yeah, I just want to see them do away with that, really. Articulation could be a little bit better, especially on the wrists, but all in all it's pretty solid. These shoulder pad sections do tend to come untabbed a little bit, which is just a minor inconvenience really. It's nothing too detrimental. But yeah, it's a solid little deluxe class. Again, if you're bothered about the scaling and everything, yeah, it is a bit of a shame that he's not the correct scale compared to Starscream. Him and Starscream should be the same size, but they're not, because this guy's a deluxe and the Starscream that they did is a Voyager, so they don't scale well at all, unfortunately. But it's just one of those things. These are still available. I've seen plenty of them floating about, brand new as well. And I'll drop some links down below to some sites if you're in the UK or the US or in Europe. If you want to pick one of these guys up for yourself, you can go ahead and do that. And stay tuned to the channel and check out the Instagram page if you're on there, as we've got some additional content on there for you. That can be found in the channel description, and I'll also link it down into the description of this video as well, so you can go ahead and check out the Instagram account as well. Drop me a follow over there, will be greatly appreciated. And yeah, leave me a like on the video if you enjoyed this one. Drop me a comment if you are a fan of the Armada show, if you're an OG. So with all that being said, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.